In 3D, everything is perfect because everything is 0 and 1. In real life, nothing is 0 and 1. Even if you see the sharpest knife, अब उसे microscopically देखो, its edge does not descend down to 0 mm.
No.
There'll always be a little bit of thickness in that. Even when you're filming, that time also there will always be a visual effects supervisor on set.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who's telling you that, if you move it like this might not work. Right? Or your frame shutter is not, motion blur बहुत ज़्यादा है, नहीं हो पाएगा ये काम. जब आप सोचने की कोशिश करो वो हो ही नहीं पाएगा. They have a behind the scenes.
Okay.
For Jungle Book on YouTube.
Okay.
Which you can see.
Okay.
उसके अंदर they have Bagheera as a stick. Right? The stick is being handled by someone off camera, so that the actor who played Mowgli has something to look at and has something to interact with. For a CGI laborer, it is difficult. The path ahead is going to be problematic.
CGI laborer is a term you're using.
Yes, CGI. I'll use it as a CGI laborer. I won't use CGI artist because I have a different concept of what an artist is. Right?
I think so. People who are taking this as a career option, they should know this, that it's very technical, because for anybody to understand this much, they have to be like smart.
Yeah. And you have to study a lot.
Yeah, you have to be smart. You should like studying, basically.
Yeah.
So if you're not that kind of person, this is not for you.
Godcast.
Dhruv, hi.
Hello.
You see, we have been doing podcasts. This is, I think, our 6th episode. Anyway, sorry, this is our 5th episode.
Okay.
And the podcast, the idea of the season is to talk about filmmaking and the processes. So I know nobody else than my dear friend Dhruv, who is a master of CGI, the master of 3D and 2D. And he basically knows it inside out. His experience is unique because he's a self-made man when it comes to this work. And it's good to have you here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah. And not just we're not just only going to have a very good chat, but we're going to discuss this as a life option, as a career option, and where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And the influences of AI into this. So how's it going through? क्या कर रहे हो भाई आजकल?
Good, यार, मतलब just random stuff. Abhi I've been finished off a few music videos.
Yeah. I saw many, man. They were on VH1. Very good, man.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. अभी फ्लिप साइड का भी एक वो लिरिक वीडियो चल रहे थे तो वो खत्म हुए. अभी another video just got recently released by a band called Karajimo. तो उनका भी अभी the video he just released it around a month back.
So this is entirely made in computer graphics.
Yeah.
So
or like I mostly use 3D.
Okay.
My current choice of software for it is Blender.
Okay. I remember आप 3ds Max में पहले काम करते थे. So why have you shifted from 3ds Max to Blender?
I don't want to pay 2 lakhs a year.
And how is Blender in interface like?
Yeah, it's gotten so much better actually. I used Blender back in 2004-2005.
Okay.
उस टाइम का इंटरफेस कर मैं इतना कंफ्यूज हो गया था. I left it after that and I tried 3ds Max. That was easier, so I got into that.
So भाई आप 20 साल से कर रहे हो. It's what you're just saying.
Yeah, मतलब my first dabbling in it was in 2004.
2004.
Yeah.
Wow, bro. मतलब उस जमाने में होता ही क्या था इसमें?
हाँ, not like in India it wasn't as popular.
Yeah.
Abroad तो फिर भी obviously it's always been there, but India it was not popular.
Yeah.
Starting off.
So like, why did you choose this? What attracted you towards the graphics, man?
Graphics तो यार मतलब so my dad's been an architect.
Okay.
No, my dad was an architect. He's retired now.
Okay.
But with him, I've always seen buildings being made, and I've gone to sites also. I've seen the models being made in real life.
Okay.
पहले तो वो तो अपने hand carved models बनाते थे with that chalky board होता था.
Okay.
He used to cut it and make models with that.
Okay.
Always that art coming into the house. Because my granddad was also very much into art and getting paintings and murals and whatnot. So always was interested, and I think there's been a lot of family influence in terms of this visual art and all. I'd say visual thing. Right?
Visual art.
हाँ.
Yeah.
So but 3D में मेरा कैसे dabbling हुई is that I used to buy these magazines called Digit.
Okay. क्या होता था डिजिटल?
Digit magazine is basically a computer magazine.
Okay.
In I don't know what the publication is, but they used to be fairly popular amongst the geeks like me.
Okay.
Back in 2000, like in the early days of computers and all, like back in 2002 and stuff, right? So उसके अंदर in that Digit magazine, they had sent a copy of Blender and a little tutorial on how to model a lemon press. So I started doing that. I started following that through the magazine.
Okay.
Right? And I found it very interesting on how this entire thing is happening. But वही था that the software was very confusing at that point of time, so I kind of quit for a bit. That time school में था तो पर मतलब कितना time spend कर सकता उसमें. After that I got another issue of Digit which had 3ds Max in it and how to model basically a ring, right? A piece of jewelry. So that was a lot easier and that kind of got me interested into 3D modeling and animation and all. So that's where it started off from. And then I got my first digital camera in I think 2006. Then I just started shooting random videos and stitching clips together to into like music of international artists and like so that was like another way of expressing. So like all of this culminated together to get into like the digital media.
I have always had one question regarding this कि मतलब जैसे कि your dad used to make models cardboard से, he was able to get the work done.
Yeah.
So what was the requirement to take this digital? Like ऐसा ये shift हुआ ही क्यों? मतलब पहले भी वो काम होता ही था. Like जैसे I know somebody else जिसके dad भी like he used to make fashion portraits. बड़े बड़े. So Photoshop replaced that. But the work used to be there.
Yeah.
पहले हाथ का काम था. It was also. So ये shift आपके साथ से ये हुआ ही क्यों? Like what led to this shift?
Yeah, shift का तो मतलब देखो technology will always improve, no? So like there's always going to be someone who's trying to bring out the next way to do something, right?
Yeah.
And like a faster, more efficient way to do something.
Yeah.
कोई ना कुछ तो सोच रहा है इसके बारे में, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's how it started. That a person who was probably in the visual arts industry was like, hey, how do I make my job easier? And since he knew software development also, he's like, hey, let's try and code it in. Because देखा जाए वैसे Photoshop अगर आप if you see the first version, even there are pieces of art.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because to actually think about के अच्छा this is so like okay I can paint a tree over here, but now I'm limited to the canvas that I have in front of me. Like if I made it on an A4 size sheet, then it's going to remain an A4 size sheet. Can I somehow recreate it in a space where I can expand it or decrease it or do whatever I want later on with it? That's how a person might have thought कि मतलब okay let's try and code it. Let's see if I can code a brush stroke, if I can code colors into like.
So it has made it easier and more efficient.
Yeah, for sure.
And it has also replaced हाथ का काम.
Technology has always replaced हाथ का काम.
Okay. And like coming back to your journey, bhai, so what went next? Like how did you become the professional in it?
मतलब how did I become the professional?
मतलब तेरी journey from raw amateur मतलब you.
यार देखो there was just one inspiration for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's that I listened to a lot of music.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear a piece of music, a visual would play in my head.
Yeah.
So my thing was now how do I make this?
Yeah.
Right. It was always the want of creating that, like just having a physical representation of that thing that's going on in your mind.
Okay.
Now, एक चीज थी या तो I could do art, traditional art. But then I would be limited to still frames. I could try doing 2D animation also, but that's also like. मतलब I went into 2D animation also. I took painting lessons and all also. So I'm like I know how to draw and all, but when you draw, you have to draw frame by frame. That is very tedious. So my thing was like, how do I create this visual in my head in a slightly easier manner for me? That like हर चीज मुझे हाथ से नहीं बनानी पड़ेगी. So for that, at that point of time, this was around 2009 or something, right? So that time I thought like the 3D would be the best way to take this forward. Because उसके अंदर ये कि मतलब once I say I've created a character, right? I don't need to draw that character in 3/4 angle, like in a 45-degree angle, then a 180-degree angle, just to do the rotation. I can just move the camera around the character और हो गया सारा काम. You know? So it was basically just trying to get my work easier. That got me into this side of things. And secondly, my thing also in 3D has been कि either make something look absolutely real or look something absolutely 2D. So just trying to get to both of these areas also has just helped me.
Okay. So do you want to like क्या procedure क्या होता है भाई पूरे 3D का like for a layman जो बंदा टीवी बैठ के CGI में ad देख रहा है like आज के जमाने में तो टीवी की जितनी भी कार ads होती है all computer generated है ना वो असली गाड़ी नहीं है
नहीं they've been that way for long time
now है ना गाड़ी असली होती ही नहीं है वो सारी कंप्यूटर में बनती है इनफैक्ट जो आपके मैकडॉनल्ड्स के बर्गर्स भी वगैरह सारी एड्स में होते हैं देयर ऑल कंप्यूटर जनरेटेड एंड दे लुक सो अपीलिंग तो मतलब अब एक हर इंसान जो टीवी देख रहा है दिन में 12 घंटे वो 8 घंटे एड में सीजीआई देखता है इवन योर टॉफी एल्पेनलीबे इज अ कंप्यूटर जनरेटेड ग्राफिक एवरीथिंग इज ऑल ग्राफिक्स आर कंप्यूटर जनरेटेड तो उसको तो पता ही नहीं वो ये बनता कैसे है तो हाउ डू यू एक्सप्लेन टू देम दिस थिंग इन अ वेरी सिंपल वे कि यार ये प्रोसीजर यहाँ से पैदा होता है और यहाँ जाके खत्म होता है
no simple would be difficult but I'll try my best at it
because I think उसके बाद audience will be able to appreciate that
so the entire procedure is that like so first is the conceptualization right कि पहले आप when you see the toffee you've seen the toffee and let's just take the Alpenliebe only right the best actually Alpenliebe छोड़ो the best would be center fruit and center fresh
okay
है ना उसके अंदर क्या था like मतलब when you have center fruit and center fresh बीच में gel होता है right you eat that suddenly it explodes in your mouth so first the concept comes into your mind that okay what if we showed breaking and this entire flood of liquid coming out that's the best representation of what happens in your mouth right so you force to conceptualize that just like thinking of okay how do I present this
पहले
idea वही the idea is the main thing the main hero of the thing उसके बाद you have to decide what colors to use also मतलब like one तो है कि मतलब you can either use the brand colors also it makes easier but sometimes that's not the best course of action also because maybe you want to represent the mood right so what kind of emotions does this evoke in you what kind of emotion do you want to invoke in the people who are watching this ad right do you want to make them feel that this is something that's cold or this is something that's like more inviting and warm and nice and friendly so uske hisab se you decide on the color palette that you're going to use once you've decided on the color palette then you go through the entire basically the storyboarding process the mood boarding process which is basically you jo bhi aapke jo main points of interest hai throughout the video you'd have to put those down onto paper
your idea is
now gone onto paper so that there's an actual visual that you can see that हाँ ये बनना है right
okay
this would be first because right now आपके दिमाग में तो clear है but it's not only you who's going to be working on them there is going to be like at least 30-40 people working on it
30-40 लोग इस पे
लग जाता है
okay
है ना
okay
so how do you like so say the one person's come up with the idea how do you explain the idea to everyone else best would be to visually show it to them so you draw it into 2D pictures and show it to them that this is like so this is how the product will look in the air this is how it will get cut and open this is how it will open and this is how the juice will float
okay
right
take
once you've decided on that then you have teams then you have entire departments actually which work on the separate parts of the entire CGI. So you would have your modeling department which would create like say the candy wrapper, the model of the gum itself, right?
So everything that we see which is a product or an object is first modeled.
It is first basically everything is a blank canvas. Imagine an empty room, like a completely white room. उसमें कुछ नहीं है बस साइड में ना मिट्टी रखी हुई और थोड़ा पानी रखा हुआ है और वो बोला कि आप पानी को डालो मिट्टी के अंदर मिट्टी थोड़ी हार्ड होगी मिट्टी को फिर मोल्ड करो इनटू व्हाट यू वांट टू मेक एक बार वो मिट्टी मोल्ड होगी यू मेड द च्यूइंग गम द मॉडल ऑफ द च्यूइंग गम with that matti. You made the wrapper with that matti. You made you made the background with that matti. Everything is made with that just one cup of water and that matti.
Okay.
एक बार ये हो गया, फिर आपको क्या आकर पेंट दे देते हैं.
हाँ.
है ना? Then you have to manually paint in everything.
Okay.
कि जो आपका जो फ्रूट है, आपका जो कलर है उसका कलर कैसा आएगा, वो भी आपको पेंट करना पड़ेगा.
हाँ.
जो रैपर है, रैपर पूरा बनाना पड़ेगा.
हाँ.
तो दैट इज पेंटेड इन कंप्लीटली.
हाँ.
उसके बाद इन 3D there is this thing called fluid simulation.
Okay.
Basically क्या है that since you have the empty canvas, problem is that there are certain things we take for granted, like कि मुझे पता है अगर मैं इसमें से पानी पीऊंगा तो पानी मेरी तरफ आएगा इसके अंदर, right? And go into my mouth.
Yeah.
So we take this for granted. In computers, there is no such concept. There is just bits of ones and zeros. There's just data that's there, right? Now you have to tell the water that it is water.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So now that's the challenge. How do you tell the piece of water that you are water? You have to behave like this way. तो वो आपको पूरा अंदर कोड करना पड़ता है फिर उसके अंदर.
Okay.
That you have to tell के okay, say you are say 1 centimeter 1 by 1 centimeter के क्यूब आपके अंदर मैंने 1 cubic meter पानी भर दिया है. All these dots represent the water. Now when I tilt the cube like this, all your dots have to follow the cube like this.
Okay.
Right? All of that has to be manually put into it.
Okay.
So that is would be the third process in doing something like a center fresh. कि आपने बना दिया अपना chewing के अंदर आपने छोटे वो डाल दिए. You put small dots in there, and you've told each dot that when I open this, you have to start moving in this manner so that it comes out like this.
So basically, they have no knowledge of science or physics.
You are the one who puts science and physics.
Your experience of life comes into handy here. Okay, okay. You're recreating life.
Exactly.
मतलब मैंने जो आपने अभी कहा भाई, मेरे को सुन के एग्जैक्टली लगा कि जैसे कि वो बहुत फेमस नहीं है डिज्नी की एक वो पपेट वाली कार्टून, क्या है वो, नाक लंबी होती है झूठ बोलने पे, पिनोकियो. कि जैसे लकड़ी से पिनोकियो काटा, अब उसको बताया गया तू लड़का है भाई, तो लड़का देखो ऐसे चलना है वैसे करना है. एग्जैक्टली लाइक दैट, राइट? मतलब पहले मॉडल बनाया अपनी विजन से, उसको फिर सिमुलेशन सिखाई कि भाई तू ये है, और फिर उसको बोला कि तेरे को ये उसकी भी जर्नी शुरू होती है. ओके, ओके, वंडरफुल. एंड उसके बाद क्या होता है ब्रो आफ्टर सिमुलेशन इज डन?
आफ्टर दिस now the problem with the room is that the room is completely black.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no light there. अगर रोशनी नहीं है तो दिखेगा क्या?
हाँ.
है ना? तो अब आपको उसके अंदर रोशनी डालनी है.
हाँ.
So you have to start putting in your lights and all and lights भी आपको now at this point of time you have to think like a photographer also.
Okay. Like a cinematographer.
Yeah, like a cinematographer or a photographer. के अगर like what is the best way to show this? What will make this product look the best that could look, right?
Okay.
So you light in such a manner कि आपकी attention सारी product पर ही जाए. There might be a lot of other things that you put into place as like a set designer, like even in like real life photography. आप पूरा set design करके बनाते हो ना, इसके अंदर भी put a entire set. अब अगर आपने पूरी front से light कर दी और सबको and everything is lit equally, आपकी आँख क्या देखेगी? आपको आइडिया नहीं है. तो यू हैव टू प्ले विद द लाइट एंड क्रिएट like how do I say that? Basically, you have to. I think the best way to say is you have to paint the object with the light, right?
Basically, recreating cinema but on computer.
Yeah.
So, मतलब modeling is casting.
हाँ.
And your simulation is rehearsal in one way. And then when you're lighting, you're basically filming it.
Yeah.
So
when you're lighting, not filming it, but you're basically
preparing for it.
You're preparing for it.
And then you film it also.
Yeah, yeah.
That's your
like even in cinema. Like say you have two people talking, right?
Yeah.
You want to show both of them in the frame.
Yeah.
Both of them are sitting side by side.
Yeah.
But one person has more importance than the other right now.
Yeah.
How do you show that this person is more important right now in the frame?
By lighting accordingly.
Yeah.
By framing accordingly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that same process is followed here now.
Okay.
In CGI.
is basically filmmaking but in computers.
Yeah.
So a CGI artist is basically a filmmaker. And this lighting part can also be like you can involve a DOP in this. He can help you light.
Absolutely. That's where you have. That's where all of these things are done by different departments. So the modeling department will only handle modeling. The texturing department will only handle the painting of what the object is supposed to look like. Right. After that, the lighting department's entire job is to make sure that the product shines in every frame. Right. After that comes the camera department, the rigging, and the animation department.
Okay.
Their job, the camera department, is again like the job of a DOP. That you have to know how to frame the shot and how to give importance to what needs to be given importance to. Right. Like, so for example, if there's a car ad, you can't be like, hey, the car is going, but you're focusing on a person that's walking in the background. No, that doesn't make sense. It's a car ad, it's not a person's ad. So you have to bring that mindset also over here.
So like in a CGI production, क्या असली में production designers, cameramen or real filmmaker directors, क्या इनको involve किया जाता है, or is it just CGI artists who experience they are able to pull this off on their own?
If it's a purely CGI film, then usually the directors also, जो इसमें आप देखोगे, they'll be directors who've only been directing CGI their entire lives, right? They've been directing films. Like, of course, there are film directors who've dabbled into CGI thing because it's a very interchangeable.
Like in Kill Bill, you had this very good CGI of that Japanese samurai girl. Ki like her parents were killed and how she took the revenge.
Exactly.
So, but the film was live action and you have a CGI experience.
Exactly.
So Tarantino may have directed that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. मतलब उसके अंदर उसका हाथ पक्का रहा है. Because you can't have a Tarantino film without Tarantino giving input.
Yeah. Okay.
But like another example is अपना Tim Burton. Tim Burton made several
wonderful films. Yes.
He's made several
stop motion
films.
Yeah.
Which have been great.
Wonderful films.
Yes. So you have like a lot of interchangeability between like from film directors coming into say CGI, like what we also got animated films. You know, we've got a lot of them coming into animated films. We also have like a lot of animated filmmakers going into live action filmmaking also. Because the only challenge is that like live action has slightly different challenges than here, because like say doing an action sequence in animation, right, in CGI, it's a lot more time consuming, but it's a lot safer.
Yeah.
Because like say if you want to explode a car over here, no one's dying. No?
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, what will happen? The worst is that you'll have like one shot missing or one frame missing or something. That's the worst that will happen. In real life, if something goes wrong while you're bombing a car in the
people
sequence,
can die.
People get hurt.
So all these bombing explosion scenes in Hollywood films,
they're all done by CGI now for this particular reason.
Yeah. And they look good.
They do look good.
They look very good.
If they're done right, they look very good.
So how is a CGI shot created and inserted in real film? What do you call that? And how it's done?
So that's like
because it looks very realistic.
That visual effects.
Yes.
So basically, what they do is the starting method was that you'd film a sequence, right? Film the sequence. Now I know that.
And film the sequence, imagining ये होना है.
Absolutely.
Your actors have to respond accordingly.
So even when you're filming, that time also there will always be a visual effects supervisor on set. Right. Who's telling you that if you move it like this might not work, right? Or your frame shutter is not motion blur बहुत ज़्यादा है, नहीं हो पाएगा ये काम. जब आप सोचने की कोशिश करें वो हो ही नहीं पाएगा. So the visual effects supervisor is always there to guide the director and the DOP also. Okay, this is what will be needed to be done so that this can happen, so that this can be added. So now everyone is on the same page that so this is how the shot has to progress forward. They take the shot. Once the shot has been captured by the camera, then we take it into software. Software we tell the software that look, these are the the specific points of interest in the frame, make sure we basically put a dot on that, which we call a tracking marker, right? The tracking marker, what it does is, it'll throughout the sequence, it'll ensure that that dot is always there. What this will help us in doing is that now what the real world has seen, the movement of the camera, that because we are seeing what the camera is seeing, but we don't know how the camera is moving to see this. By doing this tracking, now we know how the camera is supposed to move throughout this thing, right? So we put the track, we transfer the data of the track to the camera in the software, and now the software camera knows that, acha, so this is how the camera was moving. So it also moves exactly like that.
So dots now basically give you reference.
Yes, that gives us
movement reference.
That gives us movement.
Like you join the line,
exactly.
You can see the line of movement.
Because if we hadn't done this, like say I took this mug, right? I put it on this table and we moved the camera throughout here, and this mug wasn't really there. We just had the table. Now, if I put the mug here, the 3D camera knows that the mug is only supposed to stay in front of the camera at all times, right? It doesn't know that the camera has to move. It just knows it has to stay here. But the real world camera is moving, no? So at times you'll see that I placed it on the table. After a minute, when the camera moved there, it might be floating in midair.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it might be on the ground. It might be on my head. It'll go all over the place. That doesn't work. We wanted to stay on top of the table at all times, right? So by tracking the table, we've told the camera in 3D that this is how we made the camera move in the real world, right?
Okay.
So now you have to behave exactly like the camera moved in the real world. So now once it knows that, acha, so maybe I moved, say I stepped left, then I went up, right? So that also follows. Because that follows, this will always stay over here. The cup will always stay on the table because the
access mil gaya
it knows exactly like that. It knows that the cup has to be center and the camera has to move around it.
Okay. Yeah. So when all this is sorted, how do you get that thing like from the computer? What do you call that process? And for example, if a footage is 6K, my CGI will also be 6K.
Yeah, ideally it should be on the same resolution.
Okay.
But now, like luckily because of AI, you have like lots of upscalers, so you can cheat a little. Not a lot, but you can cheat a little. And like you can have like something at 2K and like still take it up to 6K.
Okay. And you also can get like slow-mo in CGI.
Yeah.
You can get like fast movement, everything. That
you can do everything. Yeah, everything that you can do in the real world has been simulated in the virtual world.
So if the technology is so established and हम मतलब हमारे यहाँ पे ads में तो है ही, why is it that India is still not making good CGI movies? Like Disney तो कब से है, मतलब कब से पिक्चरें बना रहा है, 1920 से आप animations देख रहे हो, और इनकी 3D films आप 1990 से देख रहे हो, like Toy Story and all, and they're very successful films, look good even now. Why is it that a country with so many people is not making films in CGI?
Time and money.
Okay, so you're saying CGI is actually more expensive than real life filming?
Yes.
Okay.
Because like look, in real life filming, like say this set only. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You exist.
Yeah.
I exist. Yeah. This chair exists. This cup exists. This table exists. Right. The camera exists. Right. What you have to do is you have to press the record button. You have artistry behind it. I'm not discounting that. You still need to know how to place things in the frame so that it looks good, right? But you still have these things that you can place over here. When we are talking about virtual sets, we have nothing. It's an absolutely empty world. But imagine the start of the universe, right? There is nothing. You have to first create everything from scratch, and then you have to put those into the place. Right? And say I got a cup, say someone else made a model of a cup, but it's not exactly the cup I need for the shot. right? Because, uh, for example, say there's a Don, right? And he's a Don in a cyberpunk universe. So his cup must have, like, say, laser etched knives, and there should be laser shooting out from here.
Okay.
Is there a cup like that anywhere? Has anyone thought of that cup? No, this is a new.
This is a new concept. Yes.
This is a completely new concept.
Yeah.
So this has to be made starting from a point.
Okay.
Right? There will be a singular point. That point will be made into this cup.
Yeah.
Right? But basically, it's the birth of the universe that's happening over here.
Yeah.
So everything. So taking the example of this place, you in the virtual world, neither do you exist, neither do I exist, neither do these chairs exist. All of these have to be created to be put there, which is why it takes a lot more time and effort. And now, if I'm not given time, right, and I'm not given money also, what will happen? You have one nose, right? You have two eyes. Now, in that hurry, I might put your nose over here. I might put your ears over here, right?
Okay.
That will look, obviously, it'll look
wrong. Yeah.
That'll look wrong.
Yeah.
That's what happens. That's what happens in India. But most of the films, if you see, like even most of the Hollywood films, they're all made in Bangalore.
Okay. So they outsource to India.
They outsource to India.
Yeah.
But if they, like, for example, like the Avengers movies and all, they have a lot of CGI.
Yeah.
Their shooting schedule is around 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Their visual effects production is around 2 years.
2 years, yes. And they do a lot of previs also.
Yeah.
So, can you explain that previs? Like, I read about it. That Avengers do a lot of previs, and that previs helps in creating VFX and all.
Yes, yeah.
So, what is that process?
So, and now, because of...
like, why, honestly, explain me how Avenger is made, from A to Z, in a very simple way. Because Avenger is all CGI, and everybody loves it. है ना, अब किसी को कुणाल को Avenger देखनी है, या फिर विजय को Avenger देख के आ गए घर आके अपनी देखी मुठ मार के सो गए. ठीक है, अब बात है कि उनको ये नहीं पता कि बनी कैसे. ठीक है, क्योंकि हम तो बना नहीं पा रहे वैसे फिल्म. So tell me how Avengers can be made in from A to Z in a very basic way.
देखो, अगेन प्रोसेस तो वही रहता है जो सेंटर फ्रेश का जो पूरा सिखाया था. दैट मॉडलिंग होती है, टेक्सचरिंग होती है, रिगिंग होती है, फ्लूइड एनिमेशन होता है. नाउ प्रीवियस के अंदर क्या आएगा? दैट वन, सबसे पहले स्टोरी बोर्ड तो हो ही गए. दिस हैज बीन एस्टैब्लिश्ड दैट दिस कैरेक्टर विल बी हियर, my actors will be here, right? Now the actors need a line of sight to see something, right? So now what they usually do in films is that they'll have a stand-in for whatever has to be replaced.
और उसने भी हरे कपड़े पहने होते हैं.
उसने या तो हरे कपड़े पहने होंगे, मतलब in the basic sense, मतलब in the cheapest way they'll be हरे कपड़े so that it can be easily removed. That will be the cheapest way to do it.
Yeah.
But mostly the Hollywood production have a lot more money, so they usually have an actor who's wearing something called a motion tracking suit.
Okay.
Right. If it's supposed to be like a human kind character, like even the Planet of the Apes के अंदर भी वैसे वो करते हैं. So उसके अंदर they'll have like a person wearing a full body motion capture suit. उसके ऊपर ना बहुत सारे वो होते हैं. They're like little balls, tiny balls all over the suit. And the camera sees those, and they'll basically जो मैं अभी tracking बताया था. Once the camera sees that, you can feed into the software, and the software knows, अच्छा, so this is a human person.
Okay.
And because I know that these balls are moving up and down over here, this human person is moving his arms up and down here.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So once you take that into a CGI software, the camera knows that अच्छा इधर ऐसा वो
मतलब movement मिल गई,
तो movement पूरी मिल गई, and area मिल गया. Now you can place, say, something like a gorilla into that place, and the gorilla will do this exact action.
Okay.
Right? But now also you have to make sure that, like, say, a gorilla is shorter in height than the person that you run for, right? अगर gorilla सामने move करे, पीछे बंदा भी दिख रहा है आपको मुंह हिलते हुए. So now what they do is that they send it to places like Bangalore, where you have like a lot of staff working on manually going through each and every frame and painting the person out.
Okay.
Right. तो बैकग्राउंड जो है सब बैकग्राउंड से बहुत सारे पेड़ वेड़ हैं, पेड़ के सामने बंदा हिल रहा है, राइट? The people are sitting there and frame by frame they're making sure that जहाँ पर बंदा था उधर पेड़ है, है ना? तो they paint in the trees, they paint in the dirt on the ground, they paint in the background so that it seems seamless. So मतलब जो आपने जो कैमरा के जो पूरे मूवमेंट ली थी, बंदा ऑलरेडी है, बट आप बंदा आपने हटा दिया हर फ्रेम बाय फ्रेम, तो now there's no more person there, it's a blank frame and it's just a video of a forest now, right? Now when you bring the ape in, it will follow the exact movement of the person and it will also follow the movement of the camera because both have been adjusted for, right? So now it will seem as if the ape is actually standing inside the forest. Because of this entire method. That's how they would get something like Iron Man also into the shot. That Robert Downey Jr. would actually be standing there wearing that suit I was telling you about. You know? And they'd film Robert Downey Jr., but then they'd remove him frame by frame and then they'd add Iron Man over there. So if the scene is within camera, then this is done. And if it's like something as if it's like an animal which you can't control, right? Because animal को भी आप पहना दो body suit, लेकिन animal इधर उधर भागने लगे, फिर क्या करोगे? So for that, what they do is they usually have like a reference point which the actor can see and interact with. So they might have like for example, अगर आप if you go and see Jungle Book के वो कर रखे हैं उन्होंने, they have a behind the scenes for Jungle Book on YouTube, which you can see. उसके अंदर they have Bagheera was the panther, no?
Yes.
So they have Bagheera as a stick, right? The stick is being handled by someone off camera, so that the actor who played Mowgli has something to look at and has something to interact with. Then what they do is that they manually remove that stick and add Bagheera in.
So only stick was there instead of Bagheera. Not even like a person.
No.
Wow, man.
So it just shows that the amount of prowess required in acting also with CGI. You need very good actors.
That's insane. So like for like Life of Pi, you had a tiger on that boat. So what was tiger in reality on the set?
Tiger was, I think, something similar only, or I don't think there was any point of reference. Also.
There was nothing. He was just acting. And then they put the tiger in. Insane. Incredible.
That's what happened.
So like I saw Life of Pi. I think that was one of the early CGI film that was very successful. 2012-13 when digital cameras came in. So I saw the making. It was all blue green screen and all boats and all.
Absolutely.
So like उनको कितने बड़े-बड़े स्टूडियो चाहिए होते होंगे for this यार, like बड़े-बड़े.
मतलब imagine like the largest warehouse that you can. And multiplied by 2 to 3 times.
So do you think such studios exist in India?
In अपने उसमें बॉम्बे हैं.
Then and still you're not making such films because
it's just
because
time
it takes
and money.
Too much.
It's time and money. Secondly, the issue is that since अब दिक्कत ये ना, it's been like a क्या बोलते हैं उसको, it's been a what's that thing called, like the staircase, or where certain actions have negative repercussions. Because those negative repercussions, those keep repeating. So it's like a loop. It's like a downward spiral. It's like a downward spiral that's happened. That initially also people didn't take that much to CGI. When they did, they didn't understand it, right? Since they didn't understand it, they didn't give the time and effort that was required to make something look as good as it possibly could. So we got used to having just thinking that CGI is completely secondary, right? And it requires no time because it's just a press of a button, but it's not a press of a button. It's 10 departments working in tandem to create one piece.
It's basically filmmaking, but in computer. 100% same work.
Exactly the same amount of work goes in that. Maybe even more, because as I said, the cup doesn't exist in that world.
You need very refined artists for CGI, clearly. They have to be working on computers.
And they have to create the entire worlds, because nothing exists. It's a blank universe. You have to create everything from scratch. So that takes time.
So, buddy, how if this has a career in India. Like every day you read newspaper, there are hundreds of ads, CGI course, 3D, VFX course, and all. And a lot of kids do these courses. Did you do any course here?
I did. Because I want to go into the depths of 3D Max.
From where did you?
So I did a course in 3ds Max from this thing called Arena Digital Media,
the famous one.
Arena, and then I also did a course in Maya from MAAC.
You did both.
I've done both.
So, bhai, how was the experience? This is in you did from Delhi. Okay, so how was the experience? Like, did you actually learn anything?
Yeah, I learned how to use the software. I'll be very candid. That's all I learned. All I learned was how to use the software. I'll tell you, like, I will explain to you also right now and tell you what they taught me. Okay. They said this is a cup.
Yeah.
Right. अब cup आपने model करना है तो modeling they teach very well. That I won't discount. That they know exactly how to model very well. So they understand that edge flow उन्हें पता है कि इसका flow ऐसा होना चाहिए. This if you're doing this ring, then to make sure that there's no blemishes over here, the polygons and all on this. Now this is for like all the technically well versed people in this. जो भी देख रहे who's done 3D themselves, they would know about this. So there's something called a polygon, which is a 4-sided square. That is what basically represents this in the 3D world, right? So now they taught that they should do over here, and ये जो ring है, this ring should have a loop like this. अगर ऐसे करोगे आप, तो इसके ये जो बीच की जो curvature है, ये curvature के अंदर blemishes नहीं आएंगे in the software. So this they teach very well. But now after this, when it comes to text, no, but that's not what makes it look real, right? Like, अब अगर आप इसे अपने world के अंदर देखो, actually first tell you what they taught me, then tell you what's making it look real, right? Now they said that अब इसके अंदर texturing करनी है, इसकी texturing क्या है? आपने सर्वे का टेक्सचर उठाया, ये व्हाइट है, व्हाइट डाला, ग्लॉसी करा, हो गया खत्म. आपका बन गया टेक्सचर. लाइट करा, लाइट डाली, हो गई लाइट. That's what they taught. But that's not what's making this look real. Because the thing that they fail to mention is that in 3D everything is perfect because everything is 0 and 1. In real life, nothing is 0 and 1. Right? Even if you see the sharpest knife, आप उसे microscopically देखो, its edge does not descend down to 0 mm.
No.
There'll always be a little bit of thickness in that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So what's making this cup look real also? That when you're modeling this, firstly, this is not completely straight, right? It's got like little. That's why I can. If this was 0, and I'd even applied slight pressure, my entire finger would be cut in half. Right? That's not happening, no, because there's a little bit of curvature to this. There's a little softness to this. Secondly, now when I'm talking about texturing, right? इसमें डाल दिया मैंने glossy है, मुझे पता है. Glossy means that it reflects a lot of light, right? It reflects a lot of light. It reflects the environment around it. तो ठीक है, glossy है, but that's again not what's making it look real. What's making it look real is that I've picked it up, right? जाहिर सी बात है, my hands are oily. इधर कहीं कहीं पर smudges आएंगे.
हाँ, दिख रहे हैं मेरे को.
दिख रहे हैं ना? तो that is another aspect of it which is making it look real.
Wow.
Now, in the manufacturing process, this has been heat treated, right? This has been glazed, no? So, if you actually notice the reflection in this, they'll never be perfect.
They're not.
Right? They'll have little waves in them.
You move it, they're different.
They're changing. Why is this happening? Because there is inherently, because it's been manufactured in the real world, there are imperfections in the real world which have transferred themselves onto this. Right? For example, the heat distortion that happens when you're molding this. So that is what these lines are. If you see like why this is so wavy, is because the surface of this is uneven. Right? The base surface is uneven. There's a clear coating on top of this, which is giving it the glossy look, and that clear coating has been heat treated, which is why it's a little wavy, because that's the air that's a hot air that's been trapped into the glossy surface of this. So that is one part that makes it real. Secondly, it's been transported several times here and there. It must have hit other things, so it's got scratches on it. And these things are very minute.
Yeah.
Matlab, normally if you pick up the cup, you'll never notice these. But they might be very minute, but they're strong enough to cause a change in how the light is being reflected off this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So those things are what makes the cup look real.
So, but in CGI, it's just perfect.
It's completely perfect. Even your light, right now, the light you're using is a very soft light.
Yeah.
So which is why it's lighting it evenly. In CGI, the light will be, it might be the corner of the light or the center of the light. They'll all have the same value. In real world, a light will never have that same value because you have a single bulb, right? Bulb spreads its light. If the light is spreading outwards, then it'll force you, the air will cut some of the photons off.
Yeah.
And so less light will reflect as you go further away from the light source, right? And you put diffuser over here. Even diffusers, because of the way they're manufactured, the corners will be slightly darker than the center.
Yes.
Right? If you put something like, you think that, okay, like I'll do, my light, I want a square light, right? So I just put a square light. But if you put a square light, the problem will be that the square has an equal amount of light coming from every part of the surface.
Okay.
What you'll have to do is tell the light that, no, you are actually a single point light at the center, and the rest of you is a diffuse sheet that is spreading the soft light out. So your corners have to be black.
Okay.
The light has to fade off gradually.
Yes.
So you have to tell the computer that. That's the other aspect. Thirdly, the other thing that makes all of this look real is the environment we're in. In CGI, the environment is completely black. There's nothing in the environment. So if you actually just took one single light and lit this, you'll just have this thing showing up and a single point light coming reflecting off of it. But since we haven't drawn in the world, there is nothing else. It's kept in empty space right now, and in empty space which has no stars, which has nothing. It is blackness over there, right? And even in the world, even if you say we turn off all the lights and we just light one light, the environment is still there, no? So there'll still be some reflection of that environment coming onto the cup, which will still make it look real. In CGI, we have to make sure that the environment is also there to make the cup look real.
I after listening to you, I just had this thought. Then in whatever 3D Disney film or Pixar film I've seen, the faces are so ugly of characters. They have like very angular faces, rodentary faces, features. So this is the reason they make ugly faces, because life is not perfect. so I was just thinking that, man. They all have such distinct features on faces.
No.
Okay.
The reason for that is purely artistic.
Okay.
The thing is that
I was thinking if CGI is perfect, face would, like, if they're aping somebody's face, it would come out to be even more pretty. So that's why they're disfigured.
No.
Okay.
The reason, so what you like, I don't know if you're talking about the uncanny valley or you're talking about just like that Pixar has very different sort of faces.
Different sort of faces.
The different sort of faces has been an artistic.
That's artistic call.
That's an artistic call.
Okay, I thought that it stems out of this perfection only. That's what I thought.
No, because when you're modeling that, then the thing is that a human is modeling, no? So udhar perfection nahi aayegi.
Sorry.
And another thing that even when you're making humans, perfection in CGI is actually in imperfection, imperfecting the imperfections. Right? Like if I'm seeing your face also. Right now, I get a picture of your face and I just model it. Now the problem is that since CGI is inherently perfect, when I light it, your face will be completely even. Right? The reason why it will look so weird while being your face is that I haven't been able to capture all the imperfection of your face, like the pores on your skin, your beard, right? The wrinkles that are happening under your eyes or in the corner of your eyes or your eyebrows, the slightly difference in eyebrows, because all your eyebrows aren't completely straight like this. They're some are spreading out over here, some are curling over here. all of that has to be manually created in CGI to make that face look exactly like you. If that doesn't happen, then people will be like, it sort of looks like him, but there's something off. And the problem with CGI is that even though it's perfect, it doesn't take a mastermind to tell that something is off, because we are so used to seeing faces in our daily lives. Unconsciously, we know exactly how our face is supposed to look. We might not be able to describe how it's supposed to look, but we know exactly, but unconsciously we know exactly how it's supposed to look. So if we see a perfect face, we'll immediately be averse to that because it's too perfect. And it does not, there's nothing that like that.
That look alien then.
Exactly, it's going to look alien.
Yeah.
That's what we call the uncanny valley in
Yeah.
CGI. That's why like they say, no, that why do CGI faces suck so much? This is the reason. Because just imagine like the amount of there are millions of things that make one person different from the other, no? So you have to recreate those millions of things in CGI, and that has to be created by your hand. The computer is not going to automatically do it for you, right? So, but now coming back to why the Toy Story, or like why Disney has such weird characters. Usually when you're doing animations, right? Especially like you've seen Despicable Me, no?
Yeah.
You've seen that Gru.
Yeah.
Now, in real life, like it or not, just because we are used to seeing each other's faces and all, and we can see each other's faces, we can differentiate one person from another. But say if you were able, but if you make say 10 people stand behind a curtain, right, and just turn the light on so that you can just see the silhouette of the people on the curtain, you will not be able to tell who is who, even if they're your best friends that you've seen every day since your life, and they weren't supposed to talk. You'll still be like, okay, that could be my friend, this could be my friend, because they all look the same in a silhouette. So the reason why they have such weird features in animation is to have kind of like a visual identity to them. So even if you made them completely black, if you like took a picture of Gru and made him completely black, right, and you took a picture of say another person, like say the old man from Up, and put him and made his and took his silhouette, you'll be able to tell, okay, that's Gru and that is the uncle from Up.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the reason why they have these certain defining features, is that that doesn't matter. You might be 10 feet away from this, you might be 100 feet away from the screen, but you'll be able to tell, okay, this is that movie that's going on right now.
That's insane. That's a lot of technical stuff, man.
Yeah.
This thing is very technical. So is this the reason that's why many people are not good at this? It's because it's very technical.
It is.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The depth of understanding is quite a bit.
Yeah.
You can keep diving further and further into it. And actually, that's the thing with any sort of art.
Yeah. I think so. People who are taking this as a career option, they should know this, that it's very technical, because for anybody to understand this much, they have to be like smart.
Yeah. And you have to study a lot.
Yeah, you have to be smart. You should like studying, basically.
Yeah.
So if you're not that kind of person, this is not for you. Don't do VFX, 3G courses, guys. If you're not this person,
no. My one recommendation is, if you have to do it in India, it should. My thing is, I've told a lot of people who have come and asking me for this also. In India में तो मत करना. अगर करना है, go abroad. Where 3 साल के अंदर, they will cram everything into you, because in India you will do a 3-year course. You will spend like 3-4 lakh रुपए. All that you learn by the end of your education is that, अच्छा, अगर MAAC के अंदर ये माया के अंदर मैं middle click करूँगा तो ये rotate होगा. That will be the extent of your knowledge.
Bro, I have entertained many interns from these arena and MAAC centers. All they know is modeling.
Yeah.
मतलब उनको सिर्फ मॉडलिंग
आती है.
मॉडल बना के बैठ जाते हैं.
यार मैं बता रहा हूँ ये इधर के जो इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं
हाँ
वो अभी तक वो फोर्ड मॉडल से बाहर नहीं निकले। देयर एंटायर एम इज टू क्रिएट लेबर।
बस भारत के हर चीज
हाँ।
का मॉडल बना के रख दो।
हाँ बस हर
चीज model-
हर बंदे को लेबरर बना दो। दे डोंट क्रिएट आर्टिस्ट, दे क्रिएट लेबरर्स, राइट?
The person who's teaching is not an artist.
या वो होती नहीं है। मेरे जो टीचर था he'd passed out one year before I joined. He'd passed out from the college.
What?
अगर आपने इंडस्ट्री में जाकर आपने काम ही नहीं करा तो आपको
हाँ,
पता कैसे कि काम
हाँ,
करना कैसे?
हाँ।
तो आप सिखा कैसे सकते हो?
He just passed and he was teaching guys. Okay.
हाँ। बल्कि that's a good career choice. If you want to go into this over here, that's a good career choice. Pass out next year, उसी कॉलेज में पढ़ाने आता है।
नहीं है, बट हमारे यहाँ पे मेंटालिटी भी तो यही है ना कि यार बच्चे को चलो 3 लाख का कोर्स करा दिया,
हाँ।
फिर 15,000 की उसकी नौकरी लग गई,
हाँ।
उसने अपना 2 साल में पैसे बाहर निकाल दिए,
हाँ।
पापा को दे दिए, अब उसकी शादी करा दो।
हम्म।
उसी लड़की से जो साथ में पढ़ती थी वो भी 15,000 की ये मॉडलिंग का काम कर रही है, तो हमें 30,000 आ रहे हैं। That's the mentality also,
वो है, बट अब ये सोचो ना 30,000 कब तक आपको देगा?
हाँ नहीं
इन्फ्लेशन तो हो रहा है ना।
हाँ नहीं, उनको नहीं पता ना इन्फ्लेशन होता है।
हर साल 12% चीज। अब
I think Indians feel inflation only when they go out to buy food or oil. They don't care कि बैंक बैलेंस में क्या इन्फ्लेशन है। They don't care about that.
मैं वही आपको बता दूं, पिछले साल मैंने नमक के डब्बे खरीदी थी 40 रुपए की। इस साल मैंने सेम नमक के डब्बे खरीदे 50 रुपए की।
पानी तो सी का बड़ा ही होगा, तो किस बात का देख लो। सी बात, वो तो फ्री है। वो तो फ्री है, नमक ही तो है, घर पे बना लो। हाँ पॉइंट मैन। Anyways, like let's go back to this. I have to ask you about AI, bro.
हाँ।
मतलब मैं आपको अपने एक्सपीरियंस ही बता रहा था जब हम पिक्चर बना रहे थे। There was no mid journey, there was no chat GPT. By the time I was editing, both the things were there. By the time we were screening the film, many jobs were gone. Now, how does this affect CGI? How does it affect animation?
Which jobs were gone?
Sorry?
I just want
writing jobs, content writing and all. These were affected with chat GPT.
These have been affected.
And I think in future, man, ये आपका ग्राफिक आर्टिस्ट भी
वो तो 3D वीडी सब कुछ खत्म हो रहा है।
तो मतलब व्हाट डू यू थिंक इज द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ एआई? लाइक जैसे आप कह रहे हो कि भाई ये खत्म हो रहा है, तो लोग तो कोर्स अभी भी कर रहे हैं। और मतलब अभी मैंने महीना पहले देखा था, पर्ल एकेडमी स्टार्टेड दिस कोर्स नाउ। VFX, CGI, वो तो अब देना शुरू कर रहे हैं when the world is about to, when the Titanic is sinking.
पर्ल एकेडमी 1990s में चल रही है।
So I was shocked. I was like, okay, you are putting in course, you're putting in ad in Times of India, but this thing is over.
यार ये इंडिया की ना मुझे लगता है हल्की से मतलब like this little problem with us in India that we're a little late to the scene.
Yeah, like I saw that Sora that AI video generator. Man, I saw this film in which a man had a face of balloon. और वो काम पे जा रहा है, ये कर रहा है। Now that's a CGI film in my opinion. But वो free में तुमको कुछ prompt से मिल रही है। So how, like, what is the future for somebody who's CGI artist with AI? What is the future?
यार future is for an artist. मतलब, and again, I'm not an artist. I'll place it differently. For a CGI laborer, it is difficult. The path ahead is going to be problematic.
CGI labor is a term you're using.
Yeah, CGI. I'll use it as a CGI laborer. I won't use CGI artist because I have a different concept of what an artist is, right? So the issue again over here in not only in India, I think abroad also, like everywhere.
I think everywhere.
The issue has been that we use the term artist very loosely. Right? Yeah. So if a person can paint, he's an artist.
Like mostly people call me artist when they want to take loan from me. Suddenly I'm the artist कि भाई हाँ पैसे मांगने आया जरा, वरना भाई कोई हाँ मतलब this is loosely I can be said. So yeah man, continue.
You know, think of that way, like मतलब, so if a person can paint, he's an artist. If a person can play the guitar, he's an artist. If a person can sing, he's an artist. But if you historically see who have been truly artists, like
creators, man.
Creators. Yeah. And what is creation? It is what you can imagine in your head, no?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm kind of against AI also, but I'm for AI also. I'm against AI for the reason that it will cause like a lot of jobs to be displaced, like jobs like stuff like what I do, cause that to be displaced. But the reason where I am kind of optimistic about the future is that it will help filter out a lot of the noise that's come in because of institutes like, as I said, like the institutes that I've been to, which just teach people how to be labor and they don't teach people how to be artists. So now with AI, my hope is like, now this is again dependent on whether people can actually see the value of art, right? Because it's one thing to create, it's another thing to be able to value creation. And that's another major problem that has been that even you've seen, even I have seen in my field of work, our field of work, that people don't value the creation.
They never valued. They never valued.
They never value the ideas. मतलब एक चीज बताओ, Apple जो है, why is Apple so big? फोन तो सभी बना रहे हैं, but Apple इतना बड़ा है. Idea उसका था ना.
Yeah.
He was the one that who उससे पहले how would you go about like
Nokia होता था.
हाँ नहीं मतलब before that also like आप अगर आपको गाने सुनने के हैं, आपका वॉकमैन अलग, एक वो अलग डिवाइस है. आपको घड़ी देखनी है, आपकी घड़ी पहनी हुई, आप वो अलग डिवाइस है. कैलेंडर जेब से कैलेंडर निकाला,
एप्पल ने
लेकर आया ना. उसके अंदर उसके दिमाग में ये आइडिया चला ना कि भाई why can't I have one thing that does all of these things for me at a press of not even press of button, because बटन दबाने में भी पहले आप ऐसे कट करके कैलेंडर पर जाओगे, फिर ये कर उस पर जाओगे. You're like, why can't I just touch something and it happens in front of me, right? That concept was very new, no?
Yeah.
Even before this, like let's just go back to the early days of Apple. उससे पहले computers कैसे चलते थे? If I wanted to say, आजकल we take this for granted right now, that अगर मुझे document type करना है, all I have to do is double click on Word खुलकर आ जाएगा, उस पर type कर लो. You know how you used to do this earlier? पहले floppy अंदर डालोगे disk, right? You will say read the floppy disk F, right? Then you'd be like, okay, search for file word.exe, font file word.exe, execute word.exe command. You have to type all of this in just to open Word document. Now you start typing in now to save it, you'll have to go back and you'll have to again manually codify the entire thing. Now those guys sat and said that why does this have to be so difficult? Mouse तब तक बन चुका था by the way, and the mouse was used within programs, but there was no system that would allow you to use the mouse to open those programs. So Apple was the first one to think of okay, let's have a GUI. But actually Apple wasn't the first, Atari was the first, but Apple like saw the value in the GUI system. And they're like, say, let's create a operating system that allows people to give commands to the computer by moving a mouse on a screen using icons, using visual indications of what they can click, what they cannot click, and this would make life easier for people.
It got easier.
And it got easier, and we're still using it
Still.
right? So this is the artistry.
Yeah.
The imagination is
फोन पे मांगते हैं आइडियाज यहाँ पर इंडिया में, तो फोन पे just ask for idea on phone man कि ऐसी दे.
यार इधर मतलब भाई कुछ भी मांगते हैं, उन्हें लगता है कि वो संतर के भाव पर वो मिल रहा है.
Yeah.
संतर के भाव पर ना एप्पल के आइडियाज मिलेंगे.
Yeah.
तो बट वही मतलब this is the actual artistry behind it. मतलब it's not creation. मतलब गिटार बजाना तो कोई भी सकता है. मतलब I can play.
But what you can do with it? How you can solve life?
How you can solve life? How you can create? मतलब आपके दिमाग में कुछ चीज चल रही है, आप
Only creators can do this, man.
Yeah.
Only somebody who knows कि यार इससे मैं ये कर सकता हूँ, और मैं ये बंदा ये क्यों कर रहा है. Only that can do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So इधर वो सिखाया जाता है कि अच्छा this is what a cup looks like. This is how you can. So you take a picture of this cup, you make this cup, right? But now there is no cup. I tell you to imagine a cup. Can you? How many people can?
Zero.
And I'm not talking about like cup. वैसे तो imagine कर लो because you've seen it every day. But say you had never seen a cup before. Then the people who come up with, then what you start thinking, that is the artistry. And that is where I'm optimistic about AI, is that it will help help filter out the people who've just learned that this is a cup and this is how a cup is supposed to be made, right? So these guys feed a cup in that, but now there'll be something like that. No, a cup can be square also.
Yeah.
A cup just has, what is the purpose of a cup?
There is no definition of a cup as say.
Yeah, a purpose, but there's a purpose of a cup. No, there's the reason why you asked me. You are asking me to create a container for you that can hold liquid, right? A container can look like a tree also, maybe.
Yeah. It can look like anything.
Yeah. So
it can be invisible also, man. Yeah.
There can be just water floating in the air.
Yeah. It's
right?
gonna look very cool.
Yeah. So like imagine like creating like a glass so perfectly see-through that whatever you pour into it, right? It seems as if the liquid is floating in midair, but there's actually something that's being held with, but it seems that it's floating in midair. No, that is the artistry. So now, with AI coming into the picture, I think we'll be able to cut out a lot of the labor class will definitely suffer, but now the artists have a ready-to-go labor that they can command at their whims and fancy. So like if today I'm like, no, like I want to create, say, like a room that's built within a cup, right? I can just tell the AI like, okay, so this is the idea that came to my mind. A room that is made within a cup. So there's like a bed, maybe it's in layers or something. Now I can just tell the AI that this is what I want. This is how you're supposed to create it, and the AI will keep doing this for me. So that's why I think this will be handy for people who are truly artists, not for people who can't imagine.
Yeah, I think that's already happening.
Yeah. But now the flip side of this is, even artists we're communal animals, no?
Yeah, we are.
So for me to survive on my artistry, I need someone to buy that art.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if a person sees another person artistry where another person created just a cup, right? And he created a painting of just a cup. And he's like, oh, I've always seen a cup looking like that, so I love the cup looking like that. That is not appreciative of new ideas, no, like open to different ideas. Maybe something can look something different also. Like, acha, you are charging me 5 rupees, okay, I'll buy it because like kifayati, like I'm getting good value for money. I asked you for a cup, you gave me a random cup. You know, I told you to give me an abstract. I told you an abstract idea for a cup, but you give me a cup, it's fine. It's 5 rupees, take it. You might have people like this. If people like these outnumber the people who will be like, okay, I told you to make me a cup. This is not what I imagined, but this looks very cool. How much are you charging? You're charging 20,000 for your idea. Done. You take it. Because I really appreciate the art that you put into this. If these people outnumber the people who are just looking for value for money, because value for money is also used very loosely over here.
Yeah.
Right. I'll tell you another example of this soon. जो भी हुआ था in my area. So if the people who value money more outnumber the people who value artistry more, then the artist will suffer.
Okay.
Because then anyone can make any random shit very easily.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if the people who actually value artistry outnumber the people who value just money, then the artist will thrive, because now they don't need to depend on other people to bring their creations to life. Because right now, हमारे साथ भी देखो, the biggest challenge has been, say you want to create like a drone shot of like going through the forest and flying through trees and crazy like that, right? Now you go to a drone operator, you know, some random drone operator, you go to him and be like, bhai mujhe ye shot lena hai. He comes, he charges you 50,000 also, never able to get the shot also, and keep saying, sir, ye ho hi nahi sakta, ab ye lo. You're settling for less than perfect.
Yeah.
Not even less than perfect.
Compromising.
You're compromising, constantly compromising, because people aren't up to the challenge, right? With AI, there is no challenge because anything is possible for you.
Yeah.
So you can actually create fantastical worlds now.
So basically, AI will create better artists.
Yeah.
Right?
And it'll filter out the bad artists from the good artists.
Whoever is posing as an artist will be gone.
Yeah.
Very soon. 6 months?
Yeah.
I believe so too. Every poser will be out. So basically, CGI, I think, is a very good tool for any creator. They should know it,
Yeah.
right? Even a filmmaker should know it. Any painter should know it.
Yeah.
Everybody should know it because it's such a good tool.
It's an empty canvas, so you can do whatever you want with it.
Whatever you're doing, you can do it with this also.
Yeah.
If you're a filmmaker, this is for you.
Hmm.
If you are a painter, this is for you.
Yeah.
If you are a sculptor, this is for you.
For sculptor, तो भाई मतलब there are so many.
Basically same. But
Yeah.
digital.
It's like you've got endless amount of putty. Even for a painter, like digital painting softwares.
Yeah.
You don't have to go out there and buy tons and tons and spend so much. Like I've bought paint which is for like 20,000 rupee kit of paint, right? And those tubes get finished within like this big of a canvas.
Yeah.
It's 20,000 gone into a painting.
Like if you look
I don't need to do that.
If you look at that NFT movement that was there a couple of years back.
Yeah.
So this was basically your CGI art based.
Yeah.
Every CGI artist suddenly had his day.
Yeah.
Lasted for a few months only. But
yeah.
So like, what do you think is NFT, man? Like, why did it come? Why did it go so fast?
Yeah.
Like what it meant was actually good. I thought it's good for digital artists. But then that good suddenly died.
No, मतलब yeah, देखो, actually if you see NFT in that way, NFT has been there forever.
Okay.
Because you don't need.
What is NFT? Like, tell for layman, what is NFT?
So basically,
when you're saying it's been there forever, so explain. Like I've never seen it.
So the how NFT was being used has been there forever. NFT was being used by artists to sell their art, no? Basically,
like your record label is your NFT.
Yeah.
Your T-shirt is your NFT.
But the actual value of NFT, I'll tell you what the actual value of NFT is. Normally, when you create a painting, right? How do you make sure that someone else is not able to duplicate your painting and be like, "कि ये painting तो मैंने बनाई है."
By putting on a blockchain.
No. Okay. मतलब that is what I'm getting to. But in real world, कैसे करवाओगे? You
copyright.
Exactly. You have to go through a copywriting system.
Yeah.
और painting के साथ copywriting थोड़ा मुश्किल होता है. तो what the best way to do is go to an art gallery. Art gallery provides you a certificate of originality with your painting. So if you're going to buy an actual painting from a renowned artist, like if I want to go buy an original M.F. Hussain, and I have to go to a particular art gallery, and they will issue me a certificate of authenticity. So like how it's going.
Those galleries are basically dealers.
Yeah. Those galleries
are distributors.
The distributors and their authenticators. That this is actually the work of this artist.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But now the problem is that the fees for artists is very high over here.
Yeah.
What NFT benefits is, let's say you create a piece of work, right? And you put it on the blockchain via NFT. It's a marginal cost compared to going to a gallery, right? But you get but because it's on the blockchain now, the certificate is always with you that you are the original creator of this piece because this was booked on this date. And even if it gets transferred on here and someone challenges that, no, this was my work, you can straight away show them that, look at the NFT was created on this date.
So it will be always...
It cannot be duplicated. Anything created beyond this date is duplicate.
So it's valid till the time blockchain is valid.
And blockchain is not going anywhere.
Going to be there?
So blockchain is not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere.
Matlab, the underlying technology is not going anywhere.
Not going
because anywhere. I think now banking systems and everyone is
100%.
Start going to use blockchain because it's a very good way of encrypting your data.
So do you think they're going to create their own blockchain or they'll adapt to existing ones?
Yeah, that depends on which ones are left. Like I think
banking can create their own. All banks can come together and create a blockchain.
They can.
Like I always thought, like for me to be investing in crypto, I thought यार मैं क्यों करूँ क्योंकि ये सब possible है. Like I always thought कि यार कि अगर सारे banks मिलके एक blockchain बना ले अपने लिए, तो इसकी जरूरत नहीं है. इसका रेट गिरता है. और अगर वो ये करते हैं तो बाकी भी कर सकते हैं. For example, every government has a blockchain. I'm saying every nation has their own blockchain.
Yeah.
It can happen. It will happen.
Yeah.
Right. Then, so I think technology is going to be.
That's why, like the entire NFT and cryptocurrency, this is basically speculation. It's pure speculation.
Speculation, right? Yeah.
And actually, अगर देखा भी जाए यार, मतलब most things are pure speculation.
100%, man. It's just somebody else minting money because you're prepared.
Yeah.
That's what I always thought.
Was like you speculated that its value will increase, so that's why you put money into it.
Yeah, I mean,
everything is a bet.
I also sometimes think, bro, that since last 2 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
so many wars,
Hmm.
and it's been. I mean, look at it. What else happened? Crypto rose.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I never I always thought like cryptocurrency funded these wars. Like Russia has a huge role in crypto, and Russia
Could be,
is the
but I will tell you, मतलब ये इसका ना actually I will share you the video later on.
Yeah.
But lot of people think that blockchain is completely anonymous and completely free from.
Yeah, I read that. I read many books on crypto because when it was vogue, I was like, I should know. I read books and I know Takashi Nakamoto and all. It's so many anonymous figures and all. But it's a story in the end.
No, but that's what that's what the people think, that the reason why this can be used for terrorist funding and all is because it's completely anonymous. But actually, it isn't.
It's not.
It's not.
BlackRock owns so much of Bitcoin and all.
And because we know, because we can trace back the wallet transactions to the person who created them. That there was one person who did a cyber fraud of like billions of dollars. He got caught because of the one time he used the. Because he had two wallets, right? One wallet he had gotten money from various nefarious purposes. The other wallet was fine, was clean. So he used to use that wallet, constantly using that wallet, and that wallet started getting created. So one day he thought that maybe I'll just take a little bit and they won't notice. He took it out. Next day FBI was at his door. So to think that you're completely anonymous. It isn't. The most anonymous transaction is cash.
Yeah, it still is.
Cash is the most anonymous transaction.
You pay your hooker a cash.
Yeah.
You don't pay in Bitcoin. Yeah. So it's like as simple as that, man. Yeah. Like Bitcoin
it's more difficult to trace than checks for sure. But it's still traceable.
It's traceable. Cash is actually untraceable. You don't know anything. And you can like actually also sometimes get lucky with counterfeit cash.
Yeah.
Like just selling counterfeit. So that's true.
नहीं, so coming to crypto, तो हाँ मतलब वो है that I think the value of it has just been purely speculative, which is why it's risen so much. And speculative because people have said that the scarcity, I don't know how much is true, or like can they actually increase the minting of it, and like can it be an endless resource also? Because if it's an endless resource, then there's no value to it. The value is only in its scarcity, right?
Yeah.
And now how much of it, that scarcity is real, how much of it is that, wo pata nahi. But ये है that the underlying technology of अपना ये the blockchain, that is very good for like just maintaining the records and
it stops plagiarism basically. It stops plagiarism in every field.
Yeah.
Eventually it will.
Yeah.
There will be more honesty, more transparency.
Yeah. But of course, इसके अंदर भी like the person who's creating should immediately get that stuff out there before someone else takes your work and creates that. Because like if someone else stole your work before you minted it in an NFT, right? Yeah. Or you put it on the blockchain, and that person puts it on the blockchain, then they can say that no, this is my work because I put it on the blockchain.
That's true.
So if we ever come to a part where blockchain is the only verification of authenticity, you should better learn how to start doing it quickly. Right. But now you were saying, you were asking about stocks and all, no?
Well, I understand you dabble, so.
I'll just have to say one thing, because I've seen so many Indian YouTubers talking about this person who's been very wildly popular amongst the Hindi YouTube circuit, George Soros. Everyone's like that, iska drug ka paisa, wheat ka paisa. To these guys say that, भाई तुम लोग एक दिन भी stock market में अंदर बैठे नहीं हो. Right? So I'll tell you, there's some what Soros is, who George Soros is. He's a shorter.
Yeah.
Right.
What is a shorter, bro?
I'll tell you what a shorter is. So say, for example, Adani. Right? It's going really big.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'll tell you why Hindenburg is doing what they're doing also. Like this is why Hindenburg is doing. So all of these major companies, they have something called their options.
Okay.
What an option is that one stock of Adani, say like around 3,000 rupees, right? Now I want the benefit of owning 1 lakh shares, but to own 1 lakh shares of Adani, I have to have how much capital? 3,000 to 1 lakh,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
उतना पैसा मेरे पास नहीं है.
नहीं है.
So how do I get the benefit of that 1 lakh shares but not put in that much money? So there's something called an option, which is in the most layman terms, it basically takes the value of those 1 lakh shares and reduces by some formulas down to say 10 rupees. So if that 3,000 rupees goes up to, so that 3,000 to 1 lakh shares goes up by 1 rupee, है ना? That's a कितना percentage का increase, that percentage increase happens over here.
Okay.
So maybe the percentage increase over there is 20%, right? मतलब the actual 3,000 will only move up 1 rupee.
Okay.
But because you bought like such a large bulk, that 1 rupee movement will mean
A lot for
like
you.
a lot for you. So that movement, that large movement, is translated down into options.
Okay.
So with options, what you can do is that you can sell this share without actually owning it, right? So now you've sold the share. Now you only gain, if I've sold the share right now, the only way I can gain from selling that share.
Well, I never had that share.
You never had that share.
And I'm selling it.
And you're selling it.
Okay.
You're basically गिरवी पर रख रहे हो. तो हमने अपने पैसे गिरवी रख दिए. उन्होंने बोला मैं आपको ये शेयर बेच देता हूँ. अगर बढ़ा तो मैंने आपको पैसे देने हैं. अगर घटा तो आपके पैसे मेरे पास, क्योंकि आपके पैसे मैंने पहले ही ले लिए. आप ये रखो अपने पास,
ठीक
है ना?
ठीक.
अगर गिरा तो आपके पैसे मेरे पास, अगर बढ़ा तो मैं आपको पैसे ज्यादा दे दूंगा.
ठीक.
Now, now there are two things in this. There's called a buying an option and selling an option. I'm talking about buying an option. Buying an option के अंदर the thing that they say is that that the upside when you buy an option, no, say मैंने 100 रुपए का खरीदा. अब अगर गिरता है 100, अगर मार्केट में ये the share rises, है ना? Now I have bought the share. Now the value of this option will only increase if the price of the stock falls. Right? Now, if I'm wrong, maximum I can lose is what? 100 rupees.
Yeah.
Right? But how much can I gain? वो तो infinite है ना?
Yeah.
है ना? 100 rupees का 0 rupees हो सकता है, लेकिन 100 rupees का 300 rupees भी हो सकता है, 1000 भी हो सकता है. Right? So now if the stock starts falling, this 100 will keep multiplying.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So now I got the crazy idea. What if I tell people that maybe there's reality to this also, maybe there's no reality, and this is how Soros has made his money by this also. That कि मैं इसके बारे में ना गंदी चीजें बोलता हूँ
ताकि वो गिरे.
And there might be quite a bit of truth also in that. There might be a lot of false statements also. But that truth is enough to create a panic that when people start searching for and start finding the hints of truth, they get scared. If they get scared, they panic. If they panic, what happens? They start pulling their money out. Start pulling their money out. The value of it falls.
Soros makes money.
Soros makes money because he's bet against it.
Okay.
Right. अब इसका मैं
So he's a market manipulator.
Yeah.
Shorter is a market manipulator.
So like I think everyone's in this country has now tried options. Retail वो तो सभी भी बोल चुके retail investors अब सबसे ज़्यादा options में घुसे पड़े हैं इसके अंदर, है ना? I've seen that when the market has fallen, जिस चीज की वैल्यू 10 रुपए थी, उसकी वैल्यू 300 हो गई. And this fall was barely 400-500 points, which is very small.
Okay.
If the market is standing like say 40,000, 50,000 पर market खड़ा हुआ है, 400 को fall क्या fall?
कुछ नहीं भाई.
fall नहीं होता.
कुछ नहीं.
But इसके अंदर 10 रुपए की चीज 300 की हो जाती है.
Okay.
तो now I'm Soros, right? I know these little things about this country, say about India, जो अभी करने की कोशिश कर रहा है वो, है ना? इंडिया के बारे में पता है कि ये चीज इसके बारे में नेगेटिव पॉइंट्स है, और नेगेटिव पॉइंट को हाईलाइट करते रहो. People will start panicking. They'll pull their money out. India के stock markets crash. He's bet for the stock market. Say अब 10 रुपए का चीज 300 हो गई है इन 400 पॉइंट के मूवमेंट के अंदर, है ना? अब सोचो ये सेम चीज 4000 पॉइंट कर रहे हैं.
बताओ.
400 के अंदर तो 10 से 300 हुआ है, 4000 में तो 10 से 3000 हो जाएगा. एंड नाउ यू गॉट $1 billion. $1 billion आपने 10 रुपए से $1 billion की
ट्रिलियन हो जाता है भाई.
into trillion हो गया आपका पैसा.
हाँ. God. So that's what happened with Adani.
That's what Hindenburg was trying, no?
So he made
One
money
year.
when Adani fell.
Obviously, lots of people made money when
Lot of
Adani
this.
fell.
Yeah.
And now coming back to the drug thing, why Soros ka cheese is not a drug thing? He was the one that made Japan crash in 1990s.
Yeah.
He's the one that made the British pound crash.
Yeah.
You think he needs weed money
No.
to make his money?
No.
He is making trillions more from this. Bhai, matlab, he can own the entire world's cocaine supply if he wanted to.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Weed to kuch nahi hai.
Okay. I don't know this weed reference.
Many Hindi YouTubers are like that. His entire money, he's creating this so that he can control the weed business of India.
वो फूक के बैठे बेचारे. हाँ. Crazy.
Matlab, that is not the purpose of it. He's trying to short the country.
Yeah. He wants to destroy our economy basically.
Yeah.
He hates us.
He hates everyone. Matlab, like, tell you one thing,
He loves money.
if someone gave you the power that you could say something about a country, you can bet against that country because it's essentially betting, right? That if you bet against the country, you will earn triple, right?
Yeah.
And you had the enough influence to cause that fall to happen.
Yeah.
Won't you do it?
And he also has some political connections here.
Yeah.
Yeah. They help him out.
Uh-huh.
Speak the same language.
Yeah.
Good man. I think it was very wonderful, bro. From CGI to AI to stocks. Keep doing good. Keep doing good. Make more stuff.
Thank you. You too.
Wonderful stuff, man. Yeah.
I hope this podcast reaches millions and millions of
Hopefully,
views.
bro. Hopefully, I hope
your
it
entire
helps people,
series.
man.
Yeah, I hope your entire series, like, because it's very, it was needed. Like, this entire series is needed because people need to understand, like, there's a lot of effort that goes into everything.
Yeah, man.
That happens.
Whatever you watch for a 1 minute, guys, takes months to be made.
Yeah.
Months to be made. लोग छुट्टी पे नहीं जाते महीना.
भाई, check out, like, YouTubers India वाले पता नहीं करते क्यों नहीं, लेकिन उन्हें दिखाना चाहिए the dark reality of YouTube. You see all these creators who've got millions of subscribers and they're putting videos out every day.
Yeah.
उनकी आंखें देखो पूरी भारी भारी होती हैं क्योंकि रोज उनका 12 घंटे का शिफ्ट होती है.
Bro, अभी 2-3 days back I had some influencer जिसका मेरे को ना इंस्टा में मैसेज आया. उसको स्टूडियो चाहिए था on rent to shoot some brand video. And that person was pretending as if कि उसका मैनेजर बात कर रहा है मुझसे. I clearly know कि it's the person, same person. But the idea was to show कि I am the manager for this person. And they couldn't afford $1,500 for rental also. So I was like, okay. And you're talking about brand shoot. Like who are you helping and who are you like helping on whose cost? Like these people don't understand. I think they have never worked in the market. They don't know logistics.
Yeah.
And then they think they're going to make it big. You will never make it big if you don't understand logistics. I'm telling you. You should know how things are done. It can't be done on somebody else's pocket. It's impossible.
Yeah. नहीं करेगा ना वो
कोई नहीं करेगा. I just simply said, take care. I can't help you. How can I give you something?
Exactly.
In the end, I'm going to be paying from my pocket. How did it help me? And they said, I'll give you stories and all. I don't need stories. You're contacting because I'm well marketed. So I don't need stories. They keep that with you. So it was fun. But that's how they are, man. Influencers trying to influence us. Yeah. Okay, wonderful, man.
Yeah. Nice one.
Good, man.
Godcast.